Hello everybody, today I am here with another reading progress video for June 2nd to June 4th. So I'm going to go over the books that I have first, and then talk about the books that I already returned to the library at the end. So, the first book I am currently reading is called A Crane Among Wolves by June Her. This is on my backlist TBR for book recommendations from other booktubers. And this was recommended to me by Carrie Can Read in a video that she posted last spring. And I am currently on page 72. The next book I'm reading was also recommended to me by Carrie Can Read, and it was put in her video about summer thriller books. And I am currently on chapter 7, page 47. This book is called Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert. The next book is the second book in the One Dark Window duology by Rachel Gillig. I read One Dark Window last fall and I really loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Right now I am on page 332. The next book that I'm reading is Sky Daddy, which was a new release from April. I heard about this through Books and Lala, who read it for her inanimate object romance video on Valentine's Day. This book is interesting, but I'm not really sure if I like it. Right now I am currently on chapter 7, page 82. For books that I have finished recently, Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. This book was this book was recommended to me originally through These Lyrics and Lines. They mentioned it in one of their videos from last summer, I think, or maybe last spring. But then when I was asking my hairdresser, Andrea, for reviews for my From Manhattan to Stars Hollow TBR, she recommended this book to go along with The Sixth Sense because the main child character in this book, his name is Teddy. He is very similar to Haley Joel Osment's character in The Sixth Sense because he can see ghosts or dead people, and I'm giving this 4.5 stars. The next book is called The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. This book is about Patrick who takes care of his sister's children, Maisie and Grant, for the summer. He lives in Florida, and I just love the relationship that he builds with his niece and nephew. It's very sweet, and he comes up with Guncle rules about like how the kids can enjoy themselves. And the favorite ones that I have are the one about brunch and the one about accepting other people's differences who are trans. This is my first book by this author. I actually have a book of his on my shelf called The Celebrants, but I have not read that yet. I will be reading that next. I gave this book 4.5 stars, and it has a sequel called Guncle Abroad, which I will be reading next. This is also on my TBR for Pride Month, and the rest of that TBR will be reviewed in a video that will be out on Monday after I get home from my book club meeting. The next book that I have to talk about today is Ward D by Freida McFadden. I have had a very tough relationship with Freida McFadden's books. The first book I read of hers last year was The Housemaid, which was recommended to me by Sarah Caroli. I loved The Housemaid. I did not love the other 2 books in that series. The Housemaid got 5 stars. The Housemaid's Secret got 2.5 stars, and so didn't The Housemaid is a Watching. So I had to unhaul The Housemaid because I didn't enjoy the rest of the series. Other books that I have read by Freida McFadden are The Boyfriend, which got 3 stars, and The Crash, which got 4 stars. This book is about a woman named Amy who works as a psychiatrist in a hospital, and she has a best friend named Jade who is in an abusive home situation. And the discussion question I wanted to mention for this wrap-up is, should Amy have responded the abuse to the police? And she should have reported it because her friend was obviously in an unsafe situation, and if she wanted to be a good friend, she should have helped her get out of the unsafe situation that she was in. So I gave this book 4 stars. My next current read is called One Golden Summer. This is Carly Fortune's new release from last month. It was the book club book pick for Sarah and Destiny's book club on their Bookmarked podcast. It's taking me a while to get through this one. I am on chapter 30, and I still have quite a ways to go, but I'm about halfway done. And this is probably my favorite book by Carly Fortune. The other books of hers that I have read are Every Summer After, Meet Me at the Lake, last year's release, This Summer Will Be Different, and then obviously this release, One Golden Summer. So this focuses on the friend of the main character from Every Summer After, Sam. So you have to read Every Summer After before you read this book, or you won't get the introduction to this character, because this character is mentioned in Every Summer After as a minor character. So the main female character's name in this book is Alice, and I really like her. I can relate to her because she's very creative, and she's a photographer. So she goes back to Barry's Bay, which is the setting of Every Summer After, to take pictures of the lake. And she took a picture of Charlie, the main male character, when he was a teenager. And now these kids and now Charlie and Alice are in their late 20s. But she never got to have a 17 summer, or whatever she calls it. So she makes a bucket list for her summer, which I need to find. Okay, so her summer bucket list is jump off the rock, wear a skimpy bathing suit, read a smutty book, throw myself a birthday party, kiss a cute guy, take one good photo, but also make a bunch of bad art. Learn how to do a backflip off the dock, front flip, a more elegant dive, take up a water sport, paddleboarding, wakeboarding, water skiing, go skinny dipping, make a new friend, do something reckless, ride a jet ski, glittery makeup like Heather used to wear, put on a green dress, low-key drugs, sleep under the stars. So, if I could pick things off this list that I wanted to do, it would probably be the ones about art, like taking one good photo, but also make a bunch of really bad art. And then also, I don't know, I could never see myself riding on a jet ski or paddleboarding or wakeboarding, just because I'm nervous about going in deep water because I'm not a good swimmer. I don't think I've gotten to the part yet where she puts on the green dress, but as I was just doing research for other videos for my Friends and Gilmore Girls mini-series, I decided to watch a video about fashion for the female Friends characters, and one of Rachel's dress that she wears is the green dress for the one where no one's ready. So I guess on my summer bucket list, a goal for me would be find a dress that is similar to the one Rachel wears in that episode. So I really like this book so far. As I was saying, I really like Alice's character, and I can really relate to her. And I wasn't initially going to count this book towards the From Manhattan to Stars Hollow TBR, but I think I'm going to, because I think Alice is definitely similar to Monica with her people-pleasing tendencies, like I talked about in my video where I talked about how I can relate to Monica. And in a similar way, I can also relate to Alice, and I'm working through how to deal with overcoming people-pleasing currently. The next book for my From Manhattan to Stars Hollow TBR is Shoko's Smile, which is a series of translated Japanese short stories that I heard about from Taylor at Diaries of Creativity. She made a video 2 or 3 months ago where she made a reading list of books that Rory Gilmore would read if Gilmore Girls was filmed in the present day. And I definitely agree with what Taylor said in this video about this book. This series of short stories is about coming of age and growing up as a teenager in high school, and a lot of these short stories can be definitely connected to Rory's relationship with Lane. Right now I am on page 170, and this book is going to probably get 4.5 stars, and I am anticipating that One Golden Summer will be getting 4.5 to 5 stars. The next book is called The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, and this is a murder mystery series that is set in a nursing home, and a group of senior citizens band together to solve a murder that goes on in a nursing home. I am on chapter 29 at the moment, page 101. And I am really liking how the mystery in this book is building up so far. It's very good. This is my first book by this author. A couple of different booktubers recommended to me. I know that Olivia Reads a Latte read it, and I think Catherine read it at one point too, but I can't remember. I watch so many reading wrap-up videos that I lose track about how many people's book tastes are similar. The next book that I wanted to talk about is Theater Kid, a Broadway memoir. I got this as a gift from my mother-in-law 3 weeks ago, and it is the memoir of the son of It is a memoir of the person who produced Hamilton, In the Heights, and Rent on Broadway, and it tells about how he first got interested in theater and his family life. And I just feel really bad for him right now in this book. I'm on chapter 20, 3 Meanings That Changed My Life, and I just feel bad for Jeffrey because he has a really bad relationship with his dad because he's really irresponsible and bad with money. And he doesn't really care about his family, so he basically doesn't want to have anything to do with his dad because of how he neglects his family. The final book that is on my TBR at the moment is called What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. This book came out with a sequel last fall. So I decided to read this book first so that way I can read the sequel. It was recommended to me again by Carrie Can Reads, who gives me awesome reviews. But the only book she recommended me that I did not like was Most Ardently. This book is set in Egypt, and it's about a girl who loses her parents, who are archaeologists, and she has to track down like what her parents were researching before they died to try to help solve the murder. So I haven't started this yet, but I'm probably going to be starting it pretty soon, and I'm excited about reading it. So the books that I already returned to the library that I wanted to give ratings for are Heartless by Elsie Silver, which gets 5 stars. The Spell Shop by Sarah Durst, which gets 4.5 stars. Teach the Torches to Burn, a Romeo and Juliet remix, which gets 4.5 stars. This book is in the same series as Most Ardently, and I decided to read books from that series that are remixes of books from other books I'm reading on a TBR. So this is a gay version of Romeo and Juliet, which I really enjoyed. I gave it 4.5 stars because obviously we all know how Romeo and Juliet end, so that's not a spoiler. But I just love how this person reimagined Romeo being with a gay lover. I thought that was really a good way to modernize things. The other book in this series that I read was What Souls Are Made Of by Tasha Suri. This is a reimagining of Wuthering Heights by Charlotte Bronte that is set on the slave plantations. I think this was a really good way to reimagine Wuthering Heights, and I was actually able to finish this book. I am going to reread the original version of Wuthering Heights later this summer once it comes in at the library. I don't know. I can never anticipate when these books are going to come off hold. So I'm hoping that my rating of the original Wuthering Heights will change, because I had trouble getting through it when I read it the first time and had to stop reading at 45% because the pacing was too slow. But hopefully, now that I have read What Souls Are Made Of and also The Favorites by Lane Fargo, which is another modern retelling of Wuthering Heights that is set in the world of competitive figure skating, which came out in February. I think I am willing to give Wuthering Heights another shot to see if I actually like this book and can stay engaged with it. I also didn't like Heathcliff and Catherine because they reminded me too much of Ross and Rachel and their toxic relationship. The other book I wanted to mention was Isn't It Romantic, which is the third book in the Bromance Book Club series. I started the Bromance Book Club series last fall. It was highly recommended to me by Sarah Caroli. And I really love it. This series is about a group of men who form a romance book club together to try to understand their significant others. And I just love the relationships in this series and how they build up based on what the guys are learning about in the romance books they're reading. So, Isn't It Romantic got 3.75 stars. The next book that I wanted to talk about is The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is a thriller book that is set in North Carolina and is about a girl who leaves a 1-star review on a thriller book that she just read on Goodreads or whatever site is in this made-up world, and the author reads the review and asks her to take it down, and she says no. And then as the story progresses, things get more and more intense with the author trying to track her down. And I really like this book. I wanted to read this book just to see if it would live up to the hype I heard about it on BookTube, and it definitely has. And it is on my Summerween TBR for Gabby's Marathon from July 5th to July 12th. And if it's not available for me to read during the time of the marathon, and at least I read it ahead of time, so I gave The Last Word 4.5 stars. And then the last, I think I talked about everything. Did I miss anything else? Nope. I don't think I did. Nope, that is about it for this week's reading progress video. I will be back in about a week and a half or 2 weeks with another reading progress video. And another video that is coming out soon is my mid-year freakout tag for the From Manhattan to Stars Hollow TBR. That video will be out on Tuesday. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.